Distinguished colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, this year, Russia and ASEAN mark the 20th anniversary of their dialogue partnership. This anniversary is a good occasion to take stock of the work that's been done and to set goals for the future cooperation. And it is the goal of all the activities of the program of the summit that has just completed. Let me emphasize, it was held in an atmosphere of friendship and mutual understanding, which is traditional for our relations with ASEAN partners. Over the last 20 years, Russia and ASEAN have achieved tangible results in various fields. And most importantly, we have agreed on building a strategic partnership in the future. This is the goal written down in the Sochi Declaration adopted as a result of the summit. The roadmap of our future relation will be the comprehensive plan of action for 2016-2020 that we have adopted. Recommendations of the group of eminent persons will also be relevant. This is the group consisting of diplomats and representatives of the academia of both Russia and ASEAN. During the summit, we have agreed to develop our political cooperation. Our countries will continue close coordination within the UN, APEC, and G20. We're going to further strengthen cooperation in order to build in the Asia-Pacific region a reliable and open security architecture. This will be the aim of our joint work within the East Asia Summit, ASEAN Regional Forum, Defense Ministers' meetings under the auspices of ASEAN. We will continue to cooperate in countering international terrorism, transnational crime, and drug trafficking. We have reached an agreement to expand annual training courses for ASEAN 10 organized by the Russian Federal Security Service, and also to enhance partner contacts between the Ministry of Internal Affairs of Russia with ASEAN and POL. We've paid special attention to economic issues. Russian goods turnover with ASEAN countries stood at $13.7 billion last year, and the amount of mutual investment is standing at $11 billion. At the same time, not all the potential has been untapped yet. That is why our partners have supported proposals aimed at increasing mutual trade, investment, and technological exchanges. We intend to improve the infrastructure of ASEAN-Russian cooperation. Over the last month, several new mechanisms have been established, including in agriculture and education. The first informal meeting of defense ministers has taken place. An agreement has been achieved on enhancing and galvanizing cooperation in emergency response and fighting contagious diseases. Dialogue has been launched at the ministerial level in the cultural field. The joint arts festival has been launched. For 2016, we also plan to hold the first meeting of Ministers of Transport in Moscow, the Youth Summit in Cambodia, and the University Forum in Vladivostok. Russia and ASEAN are brought closer by their willingness to be actively involved in regional economic integration. Let me remind you that last year, the Eurasian Economic Union signed a free trade area agreement with Vietnam. We are discussing the possibility of signing such documents with other ASEAN member states, Singapore, Cambodia, Thailand, and Indonesia. During talks, we have proposed that our ASEAN partners think about the establishment of a comprehensive free trade area between the Eurasian Economic Union and ASEAN. And during the work and luncheon, we've exchanged views on how it will be possible to interconnect the integration processes that are underway in the Asia-Pacific and Eurasia. We should underscore that all these ideas are largely supported by Russian and ASEAN entrepreneurs. And we saw it with our own eyes during a separate meeting with the members of the broadest in the history of our relation business forum. This has been a very constructive, specific and useful discussion. Representatives of the business communities have given a very high evaluation of the prospects of bringing closer the markets of the Eurasian Union member states and ASEAN member states, of stepping up business contact. On the eve of the summit in Sochi, as you know, I had talks with President of Indonesia, Mr. Joko Widodo, who is staying on a working visit in Russia. Also, I had bilateral meetings with other ASEAN 10 states. Let me emphasize all these talks have been very substantial and frank. We have reaffirmed our willingness to develop mutually beneficial ties between Russia and ASEAN member states in all areas. To conclude, I would like to thank the Prime Minister of Laos, Mr. Sisoulith, as an acting chair of ASEAN, and also all heads of delegations of ASEAN states and Secretary General of ASEAN for their great contribution into making our meeting a success. Thank you very much. I could understand all that you've said, but if you apologize me today, I will be speaking English.
Excellency President Putin, distinguished media representative, it is my privilege and great honor having the opportunity to co-chair with President Putin the ASEAN-Russia Commemorative Summit today to mark the 20th anniversary of ASEAN-Russia dialogue relation in the beautiful city of Sochi. I concur with President Putin that today's commemorative summit marks an important historical milestone in ASEAN-Russia dialogue relations. We express our satisfaction with the significant progress achieved over the past 2 decades in many areas across the political, security, economic, and socio-cultural dimensions. We discussed and charted out key direction to further strengthen our cooperation toward elevating the ASEAN-Russia relation to a strategic level, aiming to promote peace, enduring stability, and prosperity for our people and in the future. More importantly, at this summit, we adopted the Sochi Declaration and note the comprehensive plan of action 2016 and 2020, and the report of the ASEAN-Russia Eminent Person Group. These documents serve as important foundation for further broadening and deepening of the cooperation and partnership between ASEAN and Russia in future. In 2016, Laos is not only chair of ASEAN, but also the country coordinator for ASEAN-Russia dialogue relation for 2015 and 2018. We therefore stand ready to work closely with ASEAN member states and Russia to effectively, tangible, and translate the outcome of today's commemorative summit into tangible result. Thank you.
I have a question to both participants of the press conference. Today there's been a wide discussion of the idea proposed by Russia to set up a trilateral economic partnership of the Eurasian Economic Union, SCO, and ASEAN. Could you tell me, please, what are the first steps that are going to make in this way? What are you going to start with? Is there a single position of ASEAN to support this idea? And do you know the position of China on this initiative. And I would like to ask the Prime Minister of Laos, what steps is ASEAN going to make, is ready to make, to launch this integration triangle? Well, I will start to answer this question. All participants of today's meeting have spoken unanimously in favor of the need to pool efforts of integration associations in those areas where possible, in order to remove the doubling efforts, to create more favorable conditions for business development. This is a complicated process, which is always accompanied with very substantive, focused talks. And these are talks not only between countries, but on goods, groups of goods. So we are fully aware of this, but at the same time, as all our partners believe that we are going and moving in the right direction, and we will study the possibilities of moving progressively towards this goal. As for our friends from China, we need to discuss this issue with them, but on the whole, we know what their position is, and the idea of the Silk Road economic belt is very close to what's been discussed today. So there are no contradictions in this regard. And on the contrary, I know about China's position to link our efforts, to interconnect our efforts within the Silk Road economic belt initiative, and interlinking the Silk Road Economic Belt initiative and the Eurasian Economic Union. So our plans are, in this regard, are very close, and I'm convinced that we'll have joint positive efforts in this area.
My question is answered, not yet. The President Putin answered already. I support his position.
Хорошо, продолжаем, пожалуйста. Давайте Тартас.
TASS agency, Veronika Romanenko. I would like to ask President of Russia and Prime Minister of Laos, could you tell me, please, what is how important is the issue of security in relations between Russia and ASEAN, and could you compare the share of security issues and the share of economic issues in this agenda? Thank you.
Well, you know, it's very difficult to present you any percentage points or shares in terms of the distribution of economic, security, social and cultural issues. What we discussed is that we need to cooperate in all the areas, although security issues are among very important ones within the framework of our cooperation. Almost all the colleagues expressed their concern with respect to the threat of international terrorism and transnational crime that they're faced with, and everyone called upon bringing together their efforts in the fight against this evil. We know that the countries of the region suffered from unilateral measures in the recent past. They bore the brunt of all those efforts. That is why everyone is interested in stable development. That is why we decided to hold the first consultations at the level of defense ministers. I do hope that this cooperation will continue in the same way as the cooperation between Russia and ASEAN in the area of military technical cooperation.
I'd
like to add on what President Putin has just stated. Apart from their multilateral cooperation, as well as the relations cooperation between Russia and ASEAN, which are of great importance, the ASEAN member countries are also attach great importance to the Russian Federation for its important role in maintaining international peace and cooperation, development cooperation, as well as the cooperation with ASEAN in other aspects throughout the years. We have also enhanced cooperation in trade and investment. And indeed, this morning, when President Putin hosted the luncheon, we also had an opportunity to discuss ways and means to further enhance the cooperation with Eurasian Union, as well as the Shanghai Cooperation. And I do believe that we have achieved important outcome and progress. And there's a need for discussion in more detail in further advancing our cooperation in this regard.
Good day. Ria Novosti, Madam Rudneva. My question is again related to the issue of security. Summer is very soon, vacations are going to start. However, the terrorist threat in the Middle East is very imminent, particularly related to the crash of the Egyptian aircraft that took place just yesterday. All of it has an impact on tourism. Have you discussed any measures to ensure affordability and accessibility to the ASEAN member countries' resorts? Is any of the countries interested in providing such an opportunity for Russian tourists? Well, first of all, I do hope that the situation of the traditional tourist destination for Russian people is going to normalize and stabilize. I would like to express condolences to all those perished as a result of the crash of the Egyptian aircraft over the Mediterranean. I would like to express our condolences to Paris, to France, to Egypt. Never do we interpose anything, although the issues of tourism are being discussed, particularly in relation to tourist contacts between Russia and ASEAN member countries. And this summit is no exception. Almost all ASEAN countries are interested in attracting Russian tourists. In greater detail, it was discussed in terms of facilitating visa regime with a number of countries, as you know, with Vietnam and Thailand, visa-free regime for up to 30 days has been introduced. We are discussing the need to introduce direct flights between ASEAN member countries and Russia. Yes, indeed, these issues were raised during our discussions, and we do hope that we will promote not only traditional tourist destinations for Russian tourists, but also tourist destinations in ASEAN member countries. There are lots of conditions, the climate is really good, so all of it is very conducive to that. Denis Davidov, Russia TV channel. One question to each of the leaders. You recently had a meeting with Shinzo Abe, your Japanese colleague. As a result, rumors appeared that the continuation of the dialogue with Europe is an attempt to bargain and to sell our islands. We know that the meeting was lengthy. Did you actually manage to differentiate these two topics? I'm referring to trade and economic partnership and territorial problem. Did you manage to make this distinction so that these issues are to be discussed separately? And the question to the Prime Minister of Lao PDR, there was an information that before the summit began, a proposal was made on the side of the third countries and Western countries, particularly to you as the ASEAN chair and other ASEAN member countries, to refrain from visiting Russia, to refrain from holding the summit. Is this so? And if there were such proposals, why did you actually decide to visit Russia and to hold such an event here in Russia? Well, regarding our relations with Japan and your statement to bargain and to sell something at a greater price. Well, actually, not selling anything. We would be ready to buy something new, but we are not selling anything. And we stand ready to hold dialogue with each and every our partner, including Japan, including the peace agreement, in the context of which territorial issues are being discussed. We are not linking these two issues together. What we want is to develop relations with every partner, including Japan, which is an important partner for us in the Asia-Pacific region and global neighbor. Japan is our neighbor. There's a high level of cooperation with Japan. And we're not trying to mix apples and oranges. We are just trying to discuss all areas of cooperation, including economic area, humanitarian contexts, cooperation in the field of sports, the agreement on peace. We are not trying to put everything in one box. There are certain limitations in terms of our context, but they're not related to our policy. We're open in our policy.
I would like to share my view that as chair of ASEAN, we have not been pressured by any third party not to have this summit being held on this important occasion of the 20th anniversary of ASEAN and Russia. ASEAN has reached a consensus, and we share the view that the cooperation with ASEAN is of utmost importance, and this marks the 20th anniversary of our relations. And all countries, all ASEAN member countries shared the same view that this Sochi summit must be held. That is the fact that I'd like to share.
И давайте заключительные два вопроса. Вот вы руку поднимаете.
The last two questions.
У вас есть такие планы, чтобы побольше стран участвовали в
Did you actually plan
Азия-Россия?
to
Например,
increase participation in the ASEAN-Russia summit, for example, at the expense of countries from the Middle East and many other countries? Well, we have long-standing, deep-rooted relations with almost all the countries of the Middle East. We work multilaterally and bilaterally. That is why I don't think there could be any problems, with the only exception of the fact that the countries of the region that we have just mentioned, they are not members of the ASEAN, because this very meeting was dedicated to the development of relations with the ASEAN member countries, with whom we've been working for 20 years already. Regarding the countries of the Middle East, with all of them we've had very good relations. I cannot even name a single country with whom we haven't been in contact, with whom we haven't fostered our relations. It has been mentioned already, including at this very press conference, that unfortunately this region, the region of the Middle East, is undergoing very difficult times. It is faced with lots of problems. It is fighting severely against terrorist organizations. You're aware of our position on these issues, and I know what the position of all the leaders of the Middle Eastern countries is. All of them are fighting against terrorism. As one of the leaders of one of the countries said, we, as he said, the Islamic countries are the first victim of this terrorist threat. That is why we stand ready to get united in this fight with Russia, in this fight against terrorism. That's what we're actually doing. And the last question.
I
have a question to the Russian president. It is here in Sochi in winter in 2014, the Russian athletes made a decisive victory. And right now in the West, Russian athletes are being accused of taking prohibited substances. The Global Anti-Doping Agency announced the second inquiry into that. What is your response to it? Well, I have a positive reaction to it. If there are any doubts, all these doubts should be removed. You know about our position, not my personal position, but the position of the government of the Russian Federation, all athletes. Sport should be clean. It should be honest, this fight should be honest. Only in that case, this struggle, this competition would be interesting for athletes and millions of fans. Well, this wave is taking place against the backdrop of politically motivated restrictions imposed or introduced with respect to Russia, but I do hope that the actions of the global anti-doping agency are in no way related to this. We have heard that the Russian investigative team and Prosecutor General Office announced their own investigation into everything that is being presented by the mass media. We are not turning a blind eye to this. We are ready to cooperate, and the relevant instructions have been given to all Russian ministries and agencies to provide any sort of assistance to the global anti-doping agency in their activities. One more question. Well, I believe you've already asked a question. Do you want to address yet another question? Two questions, one to Mr. President of the Russian Federation and the other is to the Prime Minister of Laopedia. Let us address the first question to the Prime Minister of Laopedia. Well, you've had a number of meetings with the ASEAN member countries. Was there mutual understanding on all the issues, or there were some differences? Well, I cannot name even a single difference. There was a full understanding with respect to the goals we are facing and ways to attain those goals together. Well, we discussed specific issues. Well, generally speaking, I loved those meetings. I loved the summit a lot. Well, it is a commemorative event since we are celebrating our 20th anniversary. Nevertheless, this meeting was very substantial and very fruitful because we discussed the specific areas of cooperation and specific projects, because we have long-standing economic, cultural and political relations with many of the ASEAN member countries. We discussed specific areas of our joint activities, and in each and every case, in relation to each and every country, there was something to discuss. That is why this meeting was very fruitful. I would like to thank His Excellency Prime Minister for his contribution to this summit. I do hope that it's not the last meeting in this format, and we will continue to work together with all our partners. Your Excellency Prime Minister, do you agree with the fact that this summit will usher in a new page in the partnership between Russia and ASEAN member countries? Thank you very much.
In fact, the summit on this occasion is to commemorate not only the first time, but the second time. As the first time, we marked the 15th anniversary of our relations. But this time, the 20th anniversary is even more important, as we do recall that tangible progress has been made in our relations, and ASEAN and Russia has worked closely together in order to maintain international and regional peace and stability and prosperity. Therefore, this marks an important milestone in our cooperation. And we are looking forward to the next 10 years, which will mark the 30th anniversary between Laos and Russia, which we also contribute to.
Спасибо большое за интерес к нашей работе. Всего доброго.